Hey guys, I just got fifth place at Montreal Regionals, and then I played Regionals the next day and got top 16 at that. So top 8 and top 16 back to back. I got 6-2 at both events. Sometimes tiebreakers may be good, sometimes tiebreakers may be shit. But to go 6-2 with basically the same deck back to back, and I look back at my performance with this past few regionals with decks like this. I got first place, 17th, 5th, and 16th. So that means I'm getting first at YCS, but so far the deck's been pretty good. I'm going to show you guys a new variation of how to play strikers. The deck's relatively extremely cheap, and I removed Mitsurugi. I know I told you guys play Mitsurugi. It's good. The Mitsurugi cards are good. I played Mitsurugi at the Saturday regional. I got 6-2, but in the Sunday regional I took him out, and I just like the deck a lot more. I'm going to show you guys how to play it with Radiance. I'm talking about a big engine, like with Chance and stuff. So we're going to go straight into that. Before we do, make sure to get the Metafy right now, because all my Metafy knew about this deck for a while. And on top of that, even dual Metafy member at the class, at the regional who also finished 6-2. Make sure, and I dueled a Discord member at the last round. So the Shift community is continuing growing. If you want to see the best decks before it happens in my YCS Guatemala deck, join my Metafy for daily coaching classes and get ahead of the game. We have 160 members. Go sign up. Go check it out. All right! Striker Mitsu. Just kidding. Striker Radiant. Let's go. So the idea of the deck is extremely simple, right? This is 40 cards, clean 40. All 40 cards are breakers. Every single card, there's not a single brick. There's not a single brick in here. All 40 are breakers, and that's what Mitsurugis cannot do, because you play 7 good cards with 5 shitters. So even though the mathematics is off, you could draw 2 shitters, right? So the idea of playing this, we're going to do a bit of theory before the actual list, is the fact that all 40 cards, it doesn't matter how you shuffle it, whatever, first, second is irrelevant. It's good going first, it's better going second. And sometimes you just make a choice if you want to go first or second, because it's kind of what depends on what you feel. It could do either or. Overall, the Mitsurugi cards, as you guys know, they brick a lot. There's no bricks in this deck. All 40 cards are breakers. So I'm going to show you guys the starters to begin. Everyone already knows that these are all strikers starters. Rose is not a brick as people think, okay? Rose is actually, let's say you don't open Ray. You want to open the Rose, because if you don't open Ray, that means you open the Radiant starters. And the Radiant starters, do not underestimate these 5, okay? These are a godsend in striker decks, okay? Think of against Radiant. Think of against Draco Tail. At the very least, right? Let's say you open a lot of these cards. One of them searches MST. You MST, and then you start summoning these. And then you can even get another MST if you want with the other spell, because these add from grave. And then you draw 2. The idea of this engine going first is that it gets to turbos out Vision while turboing out Camellia. I'm going to show you at the end of this video what one Radiant card does going first, where you go Camellia, you set up your grave with 3 spells, and then you get the Engage. And then you're going to get the Engage twice because of 0, Kagari. It's just infinite draws. You draw 4. Any of these cards say you draw 4 in this deck. And you end up, in this deck, you go 0, Masquerena, set 5. No deck is beating that. And the way you beat Draco Tail is you let them resolve the Rahu and Ketus. I'm telling you, you don't give a shit. It's like the way you defeat Malice sometimes, or the way you defeat Tear Limit. Let all Tear Limit names go through. Let all Draco Tail Waste of Fusion go through. And they just cannot deal with Ray and your set 5, even if you just let Urgula and Pan resolve. I know it seems a little crazy, but that's how you kind of approach this. So the idea is so simple. 21 card starters. And there's a 1-card combo of Rose as well going first, which I'll explain later. I'll explain on the Metafy. I explain it quick now. If you go Rose, Shizuku get Linkage. Linkage, get 0, add Lemnis Gate, activate Lemnis Gate at the end phase, putting it in the grave. Then you got your 0 set up from 1 Rose, and you have Lemnis and Grave to do another pop with Azalea on the opponent's turn. Or Zeke. But, so these are the 20 starters, and they're all broken going second. That's the premise of the deck. There's no bricks. All of these is just very clean. Now, does this deck miss Mitsurugi going first? Absolutely. However, what this does is it means you're always in the game going first. And going second, the deck is just utterly ridiculous. The amount of boards I broke today, like Yummy Fiends, last round made me realize just how insane this deck is. He had Solemn Warning, Ash Blossom, Caesar, all the Yummy interrupts. It was like utter annihilation. It wasn't close. And that Mitsu's, yes, is great when it resolves, but it also doesn't resolve too often. So this is more so you're always in the game. Every game there's a shot for you to win. And both of my losses were just extremely unfortunate losses, but everyone's bound to do that. One of them I did misplay one game, but it was like small misplay. But the small misplay ended up I lost, but well, not a big deal because I only misplay when I want to. I let them win. I let them win because they're the nice guy. Anyways, these are the 20 starters, and it's a 40 card deck. And going second, you also have these for starters. Okay. Other than these, so it's 24 starter going second, 20 going first. But these are also 20 are all breakers. Now look at the actual non-engine you're playing going second. I got drolled many times and didn't really care because you're playing 3 droplet, you're playing 3 fallen, you're not playing Mitsurugi that dies to droll, you're not playing Desires that dies to droll, you're not playing Upstart that dies to droll, you're playing 3 quick play spells, you played 2 Widow because 2 Widow, I'm going to show you guys another very cool play with Widow that because this end board, you always go a 0 Masquerena. Now you can't go Masquerena if you start linkage, but you end on double Widow, Lemnis. Let's say you end on something like this. You draw 4 in this deck, okay? Let's see you end on something like this. This is like, I'd say the best end board. Sometimes maybe it's something like this, okay? So what you're going to end up doing, actually, is due to the IP and 0, and let's say this is droplet, sometimes 2, I actually tried to resolve Widow twice. I tried to resolve Widow in a way where I could steal twice. I'm going to give you an example of it. You have an opportunity to pop first. Wait, before we do this, I'm just going to show the last non-engine. The last non-engine are these 3 for quick play spells, and then I do play 4 breakers because before I show this combo. I'll show the combo quick for you guys, but the idea why you need to play breakers, okay? Let me explain this super quick so you guys can understand that theory. Any of these 8, okay, are 1 card. They do what Mitsurugi do, okay? So what does Mitsurugi do? It provides a card that provides so much advantage and breaker if it resolves. These somewhat in a weird like Timu sense are like Timu versions of it. Game 1, no one's putting their shit in defense with Lightning Storm. You need as many ways to beat Draco Tail and Radiant. Like every single time, you just draw 1 of these 6. Draco Tail specifically, Radiant's easy. You could draw whatever you want for Radiant. But Draco Tail, if you draw 1 of these 6, you're almost guaranteed victory always because you go out of your way to search 1 of these, and you need this to resolve. And you have upwards of 20 cards in your deck. Linkage, Droplet, Fallen the Virtuous, all 8 Radiant cards, MST, Droplets, 20 plus Lemnis Gate to make these resolve. And when these resolve against Draco Tail, the game's over on the spot. And then you also want the capability of going into a card for illusion. You side in a lot more of these style cards. Yes, it's weird for game 1, but it's kind of like Fualos. Think of yourself as 3 Fualos, which a lot of people are more used to. But if you're playing a deck of breakers without breakers, it's not a breaker deck. It's just you're playing a bunch of quick play spells. You're not breaking nothing. The only thing you're doing is trading off 1 for 1, where that's not how you play this deck. You need a dose of these in the main deck to make it a real breaker deck. Okay, now that you guys understand that theory, I explained more on that on my Metafy, so check that out. But this deck, guys, it overperformed. Like at the moment, Watch Guatemala is 5 days away. I have 2 decks I'm deciding. One is a secret from Metafy. That if I take that Guatemala, you losing, all of you. Go on your flight. Tell Air Canada or Air America, stay home, baby. All right, Air America, babe, does that even exist?
American Airlines, I think you're thinking.
Screw American Airlines. I'll probably beat all of them at this game. All right, with that being said, this is the combo I was referencing earlier that I want to show you guys. It looks like this. You could probably not even resolve your Widow, right, guys? It looks like arguably you just won't even be able to do it. So you kind of set up the situation. Now, there's some other ones where it's like, let's say you don't have Ray. Sometimes it's even Masquerade. Sometimes like this, but for the most part, this is what you're trying to set up. So you're going to go use the effect here to of 0. Let's get everyone's second favorite girl. My favorite girl is holding the camera. What's up, babe? But Ray and Rose are the second and third favorite girls for everyone. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna have multiple girlfriends. You should only have 1 girlfriend, guys. For sure. But so anywho, once this is up, you pop a card. Now, of course, this is gonna depend. Maybe you want to then bounce something with Lemnis Gate. You're gonna use Ray effect. Get Kagari to get you a follow-up, and then you chain the Lemnis Gate. This is just a total random example what I'm trying to show you guys. Of course, sometimes you just have to use the negate, but just an example, add your follow-up, and then chain, putting these away, with banishing your Lemnis Gate, to go into whatever you'd like there. Let's say the Zeke, and then you go IP Zeke into SP. You Widow Anchor, take their card, and you droplet send it to Widow. Another way to do it is you save the Lemnis Gate. Let's say there's no IP Masquerena. You save the Lemnis Gate. So let's say the Lemnis Gate's here. A lot of the time, because you're drawing 6 times, you end up Lemnis Gate will have 6 cards, not 4 cards. Always try to get Lemnis Gate to have 4 cards, always, and you're actually able to Lemnis Gate your opponent's card that they cannot get back. So, for example, let's see Widow Anchor, Dracotail Artalion. So you Widow Anchor, Dracotail Artalion. So you put their Artalion, you steal it, and then you Lemnis Gate to put back. Let's say they set a trap at that point, because as I said, the way you beat Dracotail, let them or whatever, just send anything. But you also send back their Artalion, and then if you want, you could take it. The same could go even Lucius. It's okay. You could take their Lucius, even if it goes back to that, it's irrelevant. The idea is that you could negate and steal. Dracotail is more of a bad example, but let's say Radiant, for example, or Yummy. Yummy is a prime example, actually. You Widow Anchor their first card, even if you add it back to their hand, you could Widow Anchor their next summon. They have no link ones, so it's irrelevant. So sometimes you could do that. Droplet, and then IP's the other, as well as Lemnis and Gate Engraved to use theirs and yours for Zeke. So you could double Widow multiple times. Before I show you guys the extra deck and the side deck, I want to show you guys what one Camellia is able to do with the Radiant cards. I guess let me show you the extra deck first, and then I'll do that. Zeke, I gotta tell you this, only two Kagari, 2-0. People think you need like 3, that you just simply don't. Lemnis, this is not 2017. You put back these cards. I'm not playing the other Link 1. Even the other Link 1, yeah, you can play it if you want. It's really not that necessary. These are all mandatory. This card's fucking dog shit, bro. I played maybe 100 games with this deck at competitive tournaments, whether it be regionals or high-level locals. I've summoned this 1 out of 100, and it was irrelevant. Like, it's actually a dog shit card. It's not a real Regeki. 1 IP, 1 SP mandatory. I have not summoned this once in 2 whole ass regionals, with 3 whole ass regionals with this deck. I summoned this maybe twice. And like, I don't even, like, was it like, yes, it's a card that if it gets summoned, you win the game, but it's not as easy as it seems. Everyone that's decent knows that this is a card, and these two. If you could cut anything, it would be this card. And if you want to cut anything else, it could be this card. Maybe you're going to cut this for like a 0. I don't know, but you don't even. I guess you could play. I would probably cut that for the other Link 1. Okay, I'll quickly show the side deck, and then I'm going to do the combo. Yes, this deck's a little weak going first, so you play unfair cards like this, because now your Thrust could get the Flame, and Vision could draw Heat Wave and draw phase. Thrust get DDG, and you play these because without the, you need as many like Omnis as possible in your deck, and Thrust could get to this if you need. So you just play all these 6 going first, and then you just play all these breakers going second. Yes, there are a bunch of weird ass 1-0s, but it's because every single deck has an exact siding pattern, so every single deck has an answer to something. You have your Dark Hole for the stupid shit, or if you want to clear your own boards if they book your stuff. You have Dark Hole for the decks that, Dark Ruler for the decks that are like 3 Omni Negate decks that let Thrust resolve for some reason. And yeah, just random. Sometimes you want Regeki over Illusion, like you want Regeki over Illusion against Caesar, for example, and 1 evenly to search. Whatever. It's just specific things. Sometimes you don't put in like these versus shit tails, so it's like it's very specific to have something for everything. And that's the deck, okay? I do believe it's the cleanest deck, and everything does everything. Now, I want to show you guys what the Radiant cards do. Everyone knows what Strikers do, but do not underestimate this deck going first, okay? The deck going first, and this is coming from someone who absolutely loves combo decks. You know, I love my combo decks. I love my decks that are auto-win going first. But this deck, you are always in the game. You have 40 cards that are either starters or interrupts. There's 0 bricks. 0. Rose is not a brick. Rose is 2 interruptions on its own. There is not a single brick in your deck. So if you play perfectly, and I'm talking about like an AI, you are always in the game, whether you're going first or whether you're going second. That's what I really enjoy about this. Going first, this is a very poor matchup versus heavy combo decks, game 1. Game 1. But those heavy pile decks, they also post side are auto fucked because you have basically 10 floodgates. All right, I'm going to show you guys what 1 Radiant does. So let's just say, I don't know, Chant. So I'm gonna show you guys an average hand. Let's say this, let's say let's add a ray. And like you look at this, right, guys, and you'll be like, oh, Drift, that's not the average hand, that's so broken. Let's say like, I don't know, MST. Right? This is such a broken hand, Drift. No, this is what if anything, this is a mid hand. There's no vision, Like this is how every hand looks like. If you shuffle this 1,000 times, you'll notice every hand looks like this. Okay, that's the point. There's not a single brick in this deck anywhere. They're all non-engine and they all do the same. So you start off with your chant in the draw phase. You get your Eldum. You special Eldum. You get Swen. If you want, you could normal Ray, but you don't need to do that currently. If you normal the Ray, it makes it so like after you special Swen, obviously they'll fool you on res. If you normal Ray, you're able to go into the 0 quick effect. But if you do that, you're gonna have shit stuck. So that's not that big of a deal. So Chant get Eldum, Swen will get Vision. And then these will go to Camellia. Camellia will send Engage. You're going to add with Kagari. You're going to add Engage. And you're going to use Vision. Every single Radiant card leads to Vision. View them as like Vision Turbo. Okay? You're going to draw 2. Whatever. Send your shittiest quick play spell. There's just so many. It's ridiculous. And if you guys can do me a kind favor, can you please tell me how many spells there are in Grave from a singular Radiant? There's 3 spells in Grave. Even if you open Vision, you do the same thing otherwise. This add Chant, get MST, you have 3 spells. 3 spells. You got 2 engages. Let's make this even cleaner for you guys. You have a Ray in here. You get 0, and you're literally starting your turn here with 3 fucking engages. Okay? So when I tell you this deck is broken, I wouldn't do it like this, by the way. I would add the engage from Grave, so you could keep this in deck. You never know if you could draw engage into engage, which will happen multiple times. But just to show you, like, the fucking audacity brokenness of this deck. So you have the 0 as the interrupt guaranteed. Fuck, you do not need Masquerena too, but, sometimes if you want to. I just love the draws, because they'll never beat 0 set 5, and then your follow-up is, like, absurd. You'll just never lose. So now you just search 3 and draw 3. We'll obviously do 1 at a time. So at this setup, I would get Lemnis Gate. I would get my second Widow Anchor. This is where the second Widow Anchor came up. And the third card I will get in this situation, because I don't have enough spots to set everything. And obviously it'll depend on the draw, but it'll be a Ray. Obviously you'll wait to see what you draw first, because you could draw other shit. I like having a Ray in my hand. These are the 3 that we draw. We have a casual 9 cards in our hand, and as you see, there are no Mitsurugi required. This is just your average hand going first, and then you'll have to choose. The biggest issue I found sometimes is choosing what 5 cards I want to set. And I know it sounds like, like, bro, like, what are you, what? But yeah, like, if we look at this here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 7 decent cards to set. This is drawing 2 on our turn. Also, Chance could add MST from Grave, because we just used it. So we actually have 8 sets. We legitimately have 8 sets right now with next level follow-up. So what are we going to do here? We're going to go into the graveyard for this exact hand. We're going to look at what we kind of want to save. Like, you don't want all your engages gone. So what I would do here is use Lemnis Gate. I would shuffle my resources to keep the Lemnis Gate in the grave. You could just add some shit set, whatever. Save your resources to put these back. And then this way, you got yourself a graveyard effect in the grave to actually be able to use all of these. So now you can go, set 5 real interrupts like these. Or, the most likely one is you can get 2 non-engine like this. You almost always have an MST, 2 Widow, and Lemnis. But, depending on what their deck is, you can do some shit like this. And that just insta game. And you start your turn with this. This means you can start your turn with double MST if they're playing Draco Tail, or you can start your turn with MST, draw something, you give Ray. Like you're gonna have Kagari add engage too. So add Lemnis on their turn. Like this is about 7 interrupts, 8 interrupts. So you guys tell me if this is like not enough for you to win. So and the fact that the deck has 40 starters and 20 starters, 20 non-engine, you never actually brick. And yes, I get it. There's 4 like normal spells in the deck game 1. Those come out post side for cards like Heat Wave that you're just drawing like crazy, draw in the draw phase, or cards like Solemn or Thrust that you set DDG. So it's like you're good. Overall, the deck's great. I look forward to taking this to YCS Guadalajara. I might change something to this list, but I'll modify one on my list exactly. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this video. And this is going to be my last video on Radiant Striker for a while. Just letting you guys know. Because I'm going to be locking in for Guadalajara. YCS Guatemala, not Guadalajara. But before I leave, I'm going to have a lot of locals videos for you guys. So the locals content is going to be epic. Just letting you guys know this will be the last that you guys see a deck profile on this deck. But I have a lot of duels you guys are going to see with this. Because I want to keep... well, I was gonna say keep secret, but that's not a fucking secret. I already show you guys everything. But yeah, the deck has been pretty good. I got 6 and 2 at 2 regionals, 5th and 16th, not bad, and also got 1st and 17th with similar versions. So thank you guys for watching the video. Hit the subscribe button. Check out the Metapie down below for daily classes. I'll see you guys next video. Peace.